Hey guys, welcome back to another week of e-commerce marketing chats with myself, Charles, and Jimmy. Jimmy, what's going on, mate?
Hey mate, yeah, all's good here. A little bit under the weather, but we'll get through. I think it's cold and flu season down here in Australia, so hopefully it's not a long-lasting one, and we'll push through.
Soldier on. Yeah, well, I can't even blame the weather here. I had a bit of a cold at the weekend. I don't know why, but yeah, don't know. It must be going around. Who knows?
COVID 2.0. I can't say that on these shows, can I? They bloody get demonetized.
I think we're
Not that
past
this
that
is
now, aren't
not
we?
that this is monetized, but we'll get
Yeah,
suspended.
we ain't big enough to be demonetized.
Yeah, that's true. What's been happening
So
in the world of e-commerce for you this week, mate?
yeah, I think just kind of deep in the trenches in terms of client work. A bit of a kind of story for treating your customers well, which is actually offline. Um, yeah, we can kind of get into that. Yeah, there's a
Someone
bit.
someone rock up to your client's house because they weren't happy with the order.
No, no, basically, so I go to this beachside cafe in the mornings, like literally every day since I moved here to Penang in Malaysia, and you know, they know me now. Like as soon as I rock up, like I don't even have to say my order; they just
That's good.
bring me my iced matcha in the morning, and literally, I think it was last week they gave me the bill, and I know it like off the top exactly what the price is now because I get it every single day, and they said, "Oh, it's a 10% discount today," and I was thinking, "Oh, maybe it's just for the holiday season or whatever," and then the next day. I came back and they said, "Oh, let me put on your 10% discount." I said, "Is that because it's special holiday at the moment?" They said, "No, so you're here every single day. We spoke to management. You're a valued customer, and we want to
That's
give you ten
awesome.
percent." So, like, literally, and I'm not spending a lot. It's a small gesture, but the fact that they did that means that I'm going to continue to go back every day. And, likelihood if someone visits here in Penang, I'm probably going to suggest that place to go and, grab some food or get a drink. So, yeah, it's just to show kind of the small details in something that potentially that could be applied to e-commerce by just going that, just that little extra mile. If you see that you're getting repeat customers or a repeat customer who's constantly buying your stuff, maybe just giving them some additional product or there's all different ways you can go about it. Maybe you could do 20% off your next order, or there's various different things that you can do to just incentivize your customers to keep buying from you.
I'd have to look up the company, but I did read a snippet of an article about 2 days ago, so I didn't read the whole thing, but it was basically along the lines of since this company started, they used to give out the little, I think it's called the Hasbro, the little gummy bears,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
the little
yeah.
mini packets. They used to kind of put those in every order. But it got to the point where the company got so big that they were spending between 30 and 40,000 pounds on these lollies, like
Yeah.
annually to go into the packaging. And like finance wanted to cut it, and the guy's saying, no, like it's just a small token gesture, and in the scheme of things from the revenue that we're making, I think it's important. And I think when it got taken over, they took out those lollies and they noticed like a kind of their customer service and like their complaints increased. And it's just, yeah, it's interesting. Actually, someone in our community on Facebook in the Shopify Marketing Secrets, I bought a pair of track pants from his store, and it came with like a little thing of sour worms too. And like I've never forgotten it. So you're right. It's just like little tokens or little things that you can do. I think that's a really good way to start off the show. Actually, like what can you do to make your customers remember you or kind of appreciate you. I think even one of the supplement company that I work for, they look for collaborations with kind of local gyms to people's area and people that are in those locations. They send them like vouchers for free, like one-on-one trainings. Obviously, it's to the gym would try to drum up business that way, but it's just a little value add too. Like, hey, if you want this, you can go to the gym for a free session. Thanks for being kind of a valued customer. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways I think that people could kind of innovate and make their customers definitely feel more valued.
Yeah,
On
absolutely. Absolutely.
on the flip side, that I posted on this on my Facebook account this week, and I'm going to name the company too because I was annoyed. It was High Smiles. It's basically a toothbrush and tooth cleaning site. They had a sale for their toothpaste, right? And their whole slogan was these tubes last 2 months, so buy six to get you through the whole year. So I was like, okay, my toothpaste is nearly done. I'll buy six and just have them there and keep them for the year. Anyway, I get them and they all expire next month. So I was like, it's just horrible. And they don't have any reviews on their Google, so they've obviously hidden them. They don't have any reviews on their site, but they do have reviews on Trustpilot and Reddit. I probably should have read them beforehand because I thought it was a reputable business. Because, you see their advertising everywhere, but basically they're just taking the piss. Yeah, I made this purchase hoping to use it for a whole year, and every single product expires next month. I'm just like, well, that's the quickest way to never get a customer to come back ever.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of the polar opposite of my story, wasn't it? It's yeah. No, it's true. It's true. It's and you only ever get one first impression.
I mean, if you're trying to clear stock and there's limited like life left on the product, you have to let your customer know before you just send that out to them. It was horrible. Like I've got nothing but negative things to say about High Smile, the company.
Yeah. I saw it. I saw that post. I was gonna say to you that me with my holistic health hat, I was gonna say, Jimmy, you want to make sure that you're buying toothpaste without there's something called SLS, which is basically what they put in a lot of conventional toothpaste, which is not actually very good for you.
Oh, there you go.
They put it in cleaning products as well. So
Don't like the health fanatics like brush their teeth with charcoal. Isn't that the go
yeah,
these days?
charcoal. You could even, to be honest with you, I mean, I've yeah, you could use baking soda
Oh, there you
actually
go.
to whiten your teeth. Yeah, that's actually a yeah, that is a thing. But yeah, that's a
Welcome
whole
back to the
rabbit hole.
podcast where Charles and Jimmy talk about whitening their teeth. No, but yeah, in all seriousness, if you can find a way, even leading into this Black Friday period, if you don't want to do it every single order or it's not viable, maybe you can think of something that you can just do this November to give you kind of the edge over the Black Friday period. So that might be a kind of an interesting way to look at it as well, whether you lower the free shipping threshold for that period or just something to kind of, I don't know, entice your customer to either purchase through you again or purchase for the first time.
Yeah. You're talking about Black Friday because I remember us having this conversation last year as we
It's
were
gone
doing our
quick, hasn't it?
weekly, yeah, weekly episodes and how we kept drumming into people like you need to get ready for Black Friday, even though we're early. I guess to relight that conversation, when do you think companies should be preparing and getting ready for Black Friday? Is it dependent on how big your store is and how many products you're looking to actually promote in terms of sales?
Look, I think the companies that do it the best are starting to discuss it now in August. So at least starting to plan for it. Some businesses will have already planned for it and they know what product ranges are coming through and what they want to promote during the period. But it's such an important period. I mean, you look back on nearly every e-commerce account. If you look at the 12-month period on Shopify, November is always the spike month. So it's it's so important and you need to really kind of dial in. Like I work with a lot of clients where I'm getting an email the day before they want to launch kind of a promotion on Google Ads. So, and of course, I just bite the bullet for my clients. I just stay up all night and get it sorted. But it still feels like the whole campaign was just an afterthought. They could have done so much more to really leverage that whole experience. I think the part that the businesses really want to start discussing now is one, what their promotion is going to look like, and then mapping out the email flows that go with that promotion. Whether, we're going to start with, promoting this, and then we're going to add this at this point, or for example, a company that does it like Black Friday really well every year in Australia is called LSKD, and they typically have like different categories throughout the whole of November. So they might do their athletic shorts one day, they might do their athletic tank tops another day, they might do their 1% better diaries another day. Like, they're kind of, I'd almost say they're kind of gold standard for planning out what they're going to achieve, because you can tell just how well it's planned out. And every year on Black Friday, they don't increase the discount that people have already had. I think that's a big no-no. Like, it pisses people off. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I've already bought from you and now you're having a bigger sale. What they do though is they do have an additional add-on on Black Friday if you purchase through their phone app. So the price on the website stays the same, but then if you purchase throughout their app, like their phone app, they'll give you an additional 5% discount or whatever it is on top of what the discount already is. So yeah, there's different ways you can add on value and, entice people to come through and purchase. It doesn't always have to be discount more, discount more, discount more. In fact, I'd probably advise against that. It just has to be of value. Or you could have a particular bundle of products that you do for Black Friday. Hey, this is our Black Friday bundle, and make it like a fantastic deal to get people through the door. So something that's going to grab attention, because when customers are going through their inbox in November, most will probably be getting close to 200-300 emails a day potentially come through in November. And then you also remember all the companies that you've given your mobile number to, because all of a sudden out of the blue you're getting SMSs from all these companies that you haven't heard from since until last November. So yeah, you kind of get hit from every angle during Black Friday. But yeah, we'll probably talk a bit more about the channels and what we're planning on particular clients closer to the date. But yeah, I think definitely companies should start to just start mind mapping what the plan looks like. E-commerce coaches that are out there at the moment, their content is starting to change towards preparing for Black Friday. So yeah, the shift is really now kind of preparing for what's coming during November, and it starts earlier and earlier every year. A lot of companies will probably start the last week of October this year.
Yeah, I know with some of my US clients, they're kind of focused before that on Labor Day as another
Mhm.
sales day. But yeah, I think you're right. Most of these companies they often prepare too late. I think certainly if you're a sizable store and you've got a lot of promotions going on, the sooner you can get started, the better in terms of preparation.
Absolutely. What else have you been working on in the e-commerce space?
I think really for me, one thing that I wanted to kind of mention is I've been delving, as I always do. I pretty much live in Google Search Console. And I've just kind of been reviewing some client data and doing reports over the last few days for the month. And one of the things that I'd always suggest doing is a lot of store owners, they'll often look at comparing sales from the last 30 days to the previous 30 days. And what I prefer to do is look at kind of apples to apples. So, in terms of organic search, I'd like to look at the last 3 months versus the last 3 months last year at the exact same period year over year. Because then you can actually see, is, for example, your organic traffic growing? Does the sales during that same period, is that growing as well? Because naturally you're going to get fluctuations throughout the year, whether you're looking at sales data, whether you're looking at SEO data, Google Ads data, it's depending on demand. Obviously, that's not always the main variable, but it's good to look at comparable data and exact data rather than just looking at, okay, my sales perform over the last 30 days versus the previous 30 days. Why not look at year on year so you know that you're making improvements over time?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I
Yeah,
find it's hard though sometimes it's hard to sell I don't know if this is the case for your clients, but it, I'd say every single one of my clients improves year on year. So it's like always in the green when you look at it that way. What would you say to kind of people that are kind of taking that approach? It's like, oh, like I can compare year on year, but we've done all these different things that are growing. We've added all these additional channels, we've added all this additional stuff from what happened last year. So now I just want to see how we're improving month by month, which I think makes sense to me too. I think it's important to look at both. But
sure,
I would
sure.
say generally speaking, unless they've had like a drop off or they were massive during the COVID period and then comparing the next year. Like, for example, gym equipment. If you had a gym equipment client, which I did, they exploded during COVID because everyone was at home and stuck doing nothing and they couldn't go to the gym. So everyone was buying gym equipment. And, they're wondering why the year after, sales had dropped off. I'm like, oh, because potentially we're not in a pandemic anymore.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's always kind of, yeah, reasons. So how about this? Like, if you're comparing the 3 month data from the 3 months the year before, what are you looking at? Are you looking at kind of particular category pages that have really dropped off or ones that have really improved? Like, if it is a drop off or improve, like, where are you going to kind of credit that, I guess?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I think with the Google's new kind of insight section in Google Search Console, you can look at some of that data a little bit more clearly now
Mhm.
and kind of delve in. But you can see that anyway. When you do the comparison data, you can go down and scroll down and you can look at a granular level in terms of the search queries and pages. So you can actually compare and easily see where there's been increases and where there's been drop-offs. So like interestingly, I just did July's report for one of my clients, and actually their brand searches have gone down, but their non-branded searches have gone up, and then
Mhm.
they'd increased compared to the last year. So my assumption would be there also would be like, okay, we probably need to do some work on building your brand further, like digital PR, because yes, it's great that your non-branded keywords are ranking higher, so people that don't know who you are finding you. But if your branded keywords are dropping off, okay, is that because you're not getting your name out there as much as before? Is it just because there's more
I find
competition?
especially during like the branded side, I find if they stop advertising on Meta, it drops off considerably because if they're advertising on Meta, then a lot of the times people are looking at that brand and going to research it on Google. Same for any other platform. So if the brand, I notice it in Google Ads, even for the paid clicks, the branded like campaigns will drop off in clicks considerably if the client decides to stop running meta ads. So when the branded traffic drops off, it can also be like they potentially stopped advertising on another channel where people would see that brand and then go to Google to search it.
Yeah.
And so I find that a
Okay.
lot, especially on Meta through to Google. So yeah, something to keep in mind as well. If you see a big drop off, you might want to ask them if they've stopped advertising on Facebook recently or something like that too.
Yeah, interesting. That's good. Really good point. Really good point. So yeah, that's something that I always kind of look at. But for, like I said, certainly looking at month to month is important. But just I would also compare apples to apples because yeah, there's going to be fluctuations throughout the year.
How easy is it to kind of bring back a category page that may have significantly dropped off from the year before? Like, what are the kind of the action steps to go there? If you're looking in there and like, wow, this category was bringing in a lot of traffic last year and now it's dropped off considerably. Like, what are the action steps people can take from there to kind of recover that, I guess?
Yeah, so I mean, the first thing I always look at is kind of the on-page SEO. So, can we rework the meta title description so it matches kind of the search intent of what people are searching for? I'd be looking at it holistically, like why is it dropped off? Is there been a decline in the demand of the product? And you can kind of tell that by the looking at certain group of keywords to see, and some of these tools have a trend as well where they'll give you an idea of is that keyword getting searched for more or less. And yeah, these aren't always 100% accurate, but it gives you an indication of, oh, maybe it's just a drop in demand. The first thing actually I would probably look at is what are the current keyword rankings, because if if you're already ranking well, but there's been a drop off in traffic, then that would be, for me, that's a kind of clear indication. Okay, well, are we targeting the right keywords? Number one, or two, is it just a drop off in demand? Because, and it may be you could argue that, you know, you're not getting as many clicks from Google organically in the top 1 to 3 positions these days, because
Mhm.
there's more, certain different elements that are being taken up on that first page that pushes the first to third results down the page more. But those are a few things I would look at. I'd first look at, okay, are we targeting the right keywords for sure? And two, if we are, what are those current positions? And I would start then to kind of make an assumption and figure out a bit of a game plan, which usually starts with, making some improvements to kind of the on-page SEO side of things, and then working with the development team to see if we can, add some UX improvements there, whether it's maybe adding in an FAQ section so that we can rank for more keywords and questions, and it shows Google that semantically this is associated to this particular group of products. So yeah, there's various different ways to kind of tackle it, but those are a few things that I would look at first.
Yeah, interesting. No, I think that's all good points, and also a good point on the AI snippet taking up some traffic from there as well. So I think a lot of businesses are seeing the impact on that at the moment, especially the ones that were relying heavily on organic traffic. I think they're probably having to diversify a little bit now because it's just the organic traffic from like the Google search portion probably isn't as strong. I feel like if you're relying on kind of Google shopping for organic, I feel like that's actually stronger at the moment. So and that comes down to naming your product titles well and having really relevant and well thought out descriptions from an SEO perspective, but also from a user experience perspective on what they'll actually be searching for and the questions that they're asking. Yeah, there's so much opportunity in those free listings. I was speaking to a company yesterday, who was doing quite well. They were doing good numbers. I said, let's go into the Google Merchant Center and have a look at, how much traffic you're getting from free listings. And they're like, oh, what do you mean? I didn't know that you could show for free in the shopping. It's like, yeah, and then I showed them the paid section up the top, and everything below that sponsored kind of top products is all showing up for free. So we went into their merchant center, and I knew they were doing like tens of thousands of clicks on paid. They didn't have free listings enabled. So
Bit weird though, isn't it?
yeah, so I think, I mean, that's the quickest win to get free traffic, because if your products are relevant and people are searching for them, you can just show up for free in the Google Shopping tab, and making sure that your product feed is kind of well maintained and kept, and high quality data is feeding through kind of all the major inputs that you can put into the Google Merchant Center. But yeah, I mean, if you've got an opportunity to turn something on and generate, I wouldn't say like massive, massive traffic, but it might contribute to like 5% of kind of the Google traffic that's coming through. So if you're doing considerable amount of traffic on Google, it's a good thing to have on for free.
Yeah. The other thing actually that and I wish that I'd had made a note of when we executed it, which was I did a review of my client's what they call schema markup,
Hmm.
kind of structured data, and I realized that they didn't have what they call aggregated rating schema, which is basically on Google search. When you search for a product, you'll see sometimes there's star ratings underneath the product title and description, and that can help with click-through rates.
Hmm.
And that's
Yeah, definitely.
something that we installed quite, I think it was last month. And I noticed when I was doing the review that we've had an additional 500 words that are now ranking in the top 1 to 3 positions on Google. And I'm not sure if I can 100% correlate it just to that, but it seems to be a strong indication. And it's something that if you've got product reviews on your site, like just adding that snippet of code to your site it's just a win-win. It's a quick thing to do, and it can make a big difference to your click-through rates.
You can also, in the Merchant Center, you can also enable reviews, product reviews, and Google Seller reviews in the Merchant Center too, which will put the star ratings on your paid and organic product listings as well. So I think, Charles, you're talking about the organic search snippets, aren't you? So there's stars and reviews all over Google. So
Yeah.
there's multiple places you can do these things to kind of optimize your organic search and then your organic shopping and also your paid shopping. So they definitely help the paid ads. The listings with the yellow star symbols definitely stand out from the ones that don't have it, especially if you've got a lot of reviews. It's really helpful. It's probably not as helpful if you've got, say, 5 reviews, but even the eye-catching portion of it is better than not having it.
Sure, for sure it stands out. Yeah, no, I'm talking about the kind of the 10 traditional
Yeah.
blue links in organic. But now that we've got so many different areas to just the first page of Google, it's difficult to just focus on that. I think you've got to look at it eh,
Google's,
holistically.
I'm not sure if you've seen this yet, but Google's also, there's early access in Merchant Center. So if you haven't seen it yet, you might want to just check to see if your client has it yet. But they've brought out a kind of a new brand tab in the Merchant Center where you can essentially put brand assets in there, but also social media posts and YouTube videos. You can like contribute to your brand assets from additional places. And from what I've seen, a few of them are actually showing up when you type in the brand name on Google search, like these brand assets that you're putting in the back end of Merchant Center. So at the moment, it's early access, and I think I haven't seen an enormous amount of clients with it turned on, but the ones that do have kind of an exceptional store rating, they seem to be the ones getting it first.
It's interesting to know. One other thing I actually noticed talking about kind of brand assets and videos. So one of my clients has been putting out more effectively like listicle videos. So top 3 best whatever product, and he sells all 3 of those products, or the top
Hmm.
5, top 10, however many you want to kind of review. And he's been creating those videos on YouTube, and they've been also ranking for relevant keywords in the video section on that first page of Google as well. So that's a good little hack where you can, and what I'm now doing as well is I'm taking those videos and converting them into blogs that's probably going to rank on one of the top 10 blue links, and then above that they're already ranking for the video as well. So it's just more first page real estate.
That's actually a really good shout. So I've got a supplement company and we've kind of been, so it's not my supplement company, I'm working with them on their ads, but one of the struggles that we've got is say we've got like a magnesium category, for example. People are coming to the magnesium category and there's like 300 products in there. It's like which one, come on guys, like which one's the best ones? Like you guys are qualified in this space. We want to leverage your knowledge and show not just the best seller. We want to know which products is actually the best potency, the what it's got in it that makes it the best product. I think that's a like I'm gonna after this email them and say, hey, let's create a best of supplements for each category and put the videos on YouTube's and then make
Absolutely.
blogs on them, like exactly what you just said.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, I think that you could do that in pretty much every industry. If you're not selling enough products on your site, just review your product and then shit can to competitors' products.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, what he's doing is he's just reviewing. Effectively, he's not necessarily mentioning in the video that it's his products, but he's just reviewing the product. And the thing is, because they're just for some context, so effectively, he's not selling his own branded products. He's
Hmm.
selling like it's a big drop shipping site. Really, it's just
Yeah,
it's just a well thought out drop shipping operation. So it doesn't look like a drop shipping kind of traditional drop shipping site, but he's effectively selling other brands. So it doesn't look as obvious when he's like, oh, here are the top 3 best, products for this particular thing. If it's all of his own brands,
yeah.
then it looks a bit strange. But because he's effectively reviewing different brands that he just happens to sell on their website, it just looks a lot more natural. Yeah. And I mean, he adds the links even in the YouTube video as well. So that's just another way to potentially get more traffic to those product pages.
Do any of your clients do any work at the moment in the affiliate space? It's kind of, I'm looking at it for a couple of clients at the moment, like integrating affiliate programs onto Shopify, so we can kind of reach out to content creators where it's quite clear that they're advertising products that we have, but they've got no, I guess, association with any brand kind of selling these. So we kind of want to reach out to people that are in the space that where audience that we would sell to, being that option that they're referring to the store of my clients basically. So at the moment we're looking at some of the affiliate apps within Shopify to see which one's the best fit. But have any of your clients kind of dabbled in that space at the moment in the affiliate side?
It's funny actually. You're the second person that's asked me that this week. I
Oh,
actually had a
really?
friend reach out, yeah, who runs an e-commerce store, and he said, "Oh, do you know what your clients are using as the best affiliate
Hmm.
marketing like platforms?" And I must admit, I don't really have any clients that are kind of focusing on the affiliate side of things. I did back in the day actually work for a large affiliate network, so I have some experience with that. But yeah, that's quite a long time ago. So there's probably all sorts of different strategies and platforms. I'm probably not the best person to ask, if I'm honest.
The people that are listening, the app that I have been recommended from other people at the moment is called Up Promote. So that's the one that I'm kind of exploring at the moment. So if you there are a few though, so I'm probably leave it with me over the next probably 2 weeks while I kind of explore these, and then we can dive into affiliate marketing a little bit more, and I can kind of give the listeners some early insights into what we implemented, how many people we've managed to sign up to the program, and kind of what the results have been.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of there's yeah, I mean, there's lots of different ways. I know there's lots of platforms that kind of allow you to link up to publishers. Yeah, I worked for a while. I was helping a company called Awin. They're a big global affiliate network. You've got like Commission Junction, Rakuten. So I'm trying to remember now because these are I was looking at their competitors at the time. There's a lot out there, but I'm not sure if that's what you were asking, Jimmy, in terms of
Yeah, no, it is.
finding
So they're
platform.
definitely
Yeah,
viable options. The problem with, so I have looked into these, so the people that are listening, so Rakuten and Commission Junction, like they're only kind of looking to work with businesses that are doing over $1 million of revenue a month. I think Rakuten's more in the space of 2 million revenue. Oh, sorry, 2 million revenue a year. Sorry, not a month. But the reasons that we were looking into those ones is they kind of have direct connections to the shopback and the cashback apps. So there's a lot of these cashback apps at the moment, especially in Australia. Where if you can get your brand on there, it's kind of like an additional traffic source. So, but yeah, those entering those networks, you kind of need to be through one of the big players. Where at the moment, that for a stepping stone, this particular client that I am looking at would be doing the numbers to work with them, but it's quite expensive too if you want to dabble in it. Like you're probably looking at 2 to 3K a month to kind of have a manager and help get it set up. Yeah, if you're wanting to go that route, like it's a commitment. But yeah, if you're wanting to dabble and test it, I think there's a couple of really viable Shopify apps in the marketplace that you can definitely test on your own affiliate network.
yeah, I would imagine that Awin's definitely the same. They actually owned a company called ShareAcell as
Oh
well,
yeah,
which I
yep.
think was like the more entry level. So it's more of kind of do it yourself with less management support. But yeah, there's since I've kind of worked with them, which was many years ago, there's probably a number of smaller players that have popped up since.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's plenty of options.
And I mean, if your goal isn't to get on one of those cashback apps like straight away, I think one of the apps in Shopify should be fine, especially if you want to just kind of network with content creators that have your audience, but they've got no way to advertise their audience. So you can give them that option by kind of working with them to allow them to send traffic towards you and them getting a commission on the sales. So it can be a win-win for both. You've just got to find some good kind of reputable partners to work with and that are willing to promote your brand as well. Some people in the kind of content creation space see it as selling themselves out when they start working with a brand. You don't want to work with them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. That
Or
sounds
or
good.
if you do work with them, make sure you're operating at a level where they feel actually really good about kind of recommending you to their audience.
Yeah. No, good advice. Good advice. Jimmy, was there anything else that you've been working on this week? What's been going on? I know you've had a lot of coaching calls and
Yeah, no, I ran a little masterclass on the Merchant Center this week. So there's just so much in there. People neglect it. They're often looking in the Google Ads platform, but I say that the Merchant Center, I kind of use the analogy if you've got a pool and you know the water is kind of your products coming from your Shopify store, and the actual pool itself is like where all your customers are sitting. The Merchant Center is definitely the filter in between. So if you don't look after it, you're going to get murky water and your customers aren't going to be happy. You keep your Merchant Center fresh, up to date, remove all the problems. It's just clean water coming through, and your customers will probably have a better experience, be able to find your products easier, and it's just going to improve the overall standing of your store in Google's eyes too. So I think the Merchant Center is kind of neglected a lot more than it should be. And there's so many things you can do in there that people probably aren't aware of. You can create rules. So for example, if you don't have your brand name on your product and you want it in like at the end of your product title, you can go into kind of the advanced rules within Merchant Center and just like freehand like your brand name on the end of every single product title. It takes about 5 minutes, but you hear about some people that are going into the SEO portion of their products of every single product that they have and adding the brand name at the end. So there's some definitely little hacks within the Google Merchant Center that you can use to one, clean it up, also being aware of the errors that are coming through. For example, in the healthcare space, if you're getting your products disapproved for I forget the exact terminology, but it's around making kind of unsubstantiated health claims. All that means is you've got to edit your description and take out any unrealistic health claims, and that product should just get straight back in to your product feed. So a lot of people will see those areas and they'll be like, oh, this product makes unrealistic health claims. We're never going to get that through. When you're in Merchant Center enough, you can pretty quickly learn which products or areas you can change quickly to get them back in the feed. And then there's some that are nearly impossible to get back in. So if it's a restricted pharmaceutical product, yeah, good luck getting that back in. You can if you just keep appealing, and on the day that you appeal, you just get some good luck. But even then, they don't always stay in. So you kind of just rolling the dice, hoping that you can get that product back in. But yeah, there's lots of wins to be had in the Google Merchant Center, and yeah, I think it's neglected a lot. I think for me, so at the moment, I've been kind of based on what you said a little bit, Charles, before about using the YouTube videos. We've been doing that in a different way. We haven't been creating our own. There was a big, so pretty similar numbers to what we're doing on the show here. So, and and what we did is we created kind of a blog post around that. We used ChatGPT to grab the whole transcript of the podcast. So the podcast was about 3 hours long. I didn't watch a single second of it. Grabbed the whole transcript, got the AI to like pull out the best and kind of the best quotes from the podcast, or controversial quotes, or things that the audience may like. We put together a blog post about the whole episode and managed to get that out kind of in the first couple of hours of this kind of podcast coming out. So to hopefully to leverage that, I guess, traffic coming through for that particular site. But you can do it for anything. Say you're running like I don't know, a runner's store, like sneakers and that kind of stuff for marathon runners or whatever. If there's like a world record broken by a marathon runner, almost the first thing that you want to do is write an article on the shoes he was wearing and what time he did it in. Because I know I read those articles every single time they come out, and recently I've seen it's almost like a croc type of looking shoe with they've got the carbon plates in them as well. Some guy ran a marathon in like 2 hours and 17 minutes in
Crocs.
these shoes that look like Crocs. So yeah. So I mean, if you can
Okay,
if you can
interesting.
jump on those trends in any industry, first of all find the content creators or podcasts that are talking about your industry. And trust me, basically a podcast for everything these days. If you're running like a store that's selling like greenhouses or gardening equipment, there's so many blogs and people giving gardening tips and things like that, and they actually become well known in their space. But the majority of people wouldn't have heard of it, but the garden lovers all know them. So you want to do probably some content around that person that's creating the content and like maybe collate their 5 best ideas that you've seen across their videos. So yeah, there's a big opportunity to kind of leverage content creators in a different way on your own blog and just write summaries about them and what they've discussed and kind of dragging traffic through your site and then highlighting any products that you have that they may have used or mentioned or worn. So yeah, you can do it however you want, but I would recommend kind of making a list of those creators kind of in your space.
Yeah, that's good. Sounds advice there. It's yeah, makes total sense. Makes total sense. Interesting what you said about the just going back to the I didn't even realize with the Google Merchant Center you could add your the brand name to the end of
You can add whatever you want. You can change
yeah.
anything in the, or if it's got a
That's
certain keyword
on
in there,
bulk, is it?
yeah,
You could
for
add
yeah, you just
interest.
create a rule. If the title doesn't have this word in it, then add it at the end of the title. So if the
Yeah,
title
see
doesn't
that
have the brand name in it at all, you can add it across every single product. This is just for the shopping though, so it wouldn't show up in like
okay.
it wouldn't show up in
Okay.
your organic search. It would only show up in the organic shopping.
Okay, well, it's still pretty good. I was thinking I could yeah, it could be done across everything. That would be good.
I'm
Because
sure
that's
there's a
actually
way you could
still
do that on. I'm sure there's a way you could do it on Shopify too. Like, forget the app. It's called like Maxify or something like that,
yeah.
Matrixify or something like that. You can do bulk edits, but I haven't done it myself on the Shopify side. But yeah, I've definitely added brand names. Sometimes I don't add brand names to every single product. Sometimes I'll try to game the system a bit and only add the brand names to the best-selling products. So when then someone puts in the brand name, the best-selling products have like more correlation or relevance because they've got the brand name in there. And then the thought of it is hopefully that those products show when someone types in your brand name rather than just the random products that they'd usually show.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, that's yeah, makes sense. Yeah, that's one thing I'm trying to work out at the moment actually. I'm looking around to figure out how to how I can use AI more efficiently to optimize like meta titles and descriptions on bulk because I'm working with clients that have got sometimes like 10,000 product
Mm,
pages and yes, I can spend the time to go through individually, but I'm going to be there a long time.
yeah,
And even if I can get a framework to just clean them up, or a lot of the time, sometimes they don't even have the meta titles or descriptions showing. So even if I can create a framework, even if it's not the most perfectly optimized title where I could do it manually, just having, yeah, a set framework that I could just apply to all product pages based on what the product title is and then go back, review the data, and see where I can make manual tweaks to make improvements. That would be kind of good enough for me. But yeah, I know that there's a few things out there, but even Shopify's bulk edit feature,
yeah,
it's still you go through individual one by one.
yeah,
It's
and it
still
freezes
like
it freezes all the time. You have to save after every like 20 edits, or you just run the risk of losing all of them.
yeah, all that does is just display more than one
Yeah.
page's data on the screen. It doesn't allow you to edit in bulk. So yeah, something I'm sure that there's something out there that can help. I know that having conversations with web developers, they're like, yeah, we've tried to do these things, and sometimes it affects the website or
Hmm.
the
That's the thing
development
when you're
side of
dealing
things.
with such large sites in bulk, you don't want to make a mistake, especially with that kind of stuff, because the outcome can be pretty detrimental.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. So no, that's yeah. I guess it's hopefully it's something that with AI now and Shopify, I'm sure Shopify must be working on something like that. Like I can't
You
believe
hope
that
so.
they wouldn't. Yeah,
It's probably already exists. We just, I think that maybe try that Matrixify app. I forget the exact name, but it's something like that. That apparently that handles bulk edits quite well. So it might be worth looking at. The other thing I've been looking at this week is trying to find basically a company to do kind of the email marketing flows for a client. And it's been harder than I initially thought. And again, I posted on my Facebook the other day. I booked a kind of a discussion call with a company that I wanted to work with. Um, I booked the call. I stayed up. I didn't. I was up anyway, but I kind of stopped what I was doing to get ready for the call, and because it was a 9 o'clock at night call, and then they cancelled 10 minutes beforehand and sent me some email about, "Hey Jimmy, sorry, we kind of only saved these spots for international interest." I'm like, what does it matter where I'm from? I'm like interested. I've booked a call. I'm ready to purchase. And then yeah, they did that, and I actually ended up going with someone else. And yeah, these flow build outs aren't cheap. If you're looking for a flow build out, I've been kind of quoted anything from like $5,500 Australian all the way up to like $12,000 Australians. Yeah, I mean, it's just rescheduling a call because they wanted to save it for internet, and like it was 10 minutes until the call anyway. They cancelled. Sorry, we're trying to save this for international interest. Well, they can't book now because you're only going to give them 10 minutes notice anyway. So I still am like, I just think it's bizarre that they just didn't take that call. If you didn't want to take it or you couldn't make it, they should have just said that. But yeah, I ended up going with someone else. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they implement, and yeah, I'll be working with them to help get that off the ground. And yeah, I think, man, email marketing is like so underrated for e-commerce stores. If it's not there, you should. If it's not there, it should be the number one thing that you sort out before Black Friday. Yeah, your email marketing flows. Hopefully, hopefully within the show we can get someone longer term that can we can both recommend our clients to and
Yeah.
work with. So we're kind of actually, I'll put out the feelers there anyway. People that are listening, we're kind of on the lookout for someone that's kind of elite in this space. Charles and I's recommendation comes with a lot of trust, so we want to work with someone, one that 100% knows what they're doing, has the runs on the board, but we also want to work with someone that, like, 'cause I wouldn't say either of us, Charles, are the most expensive service offering within our space by any means. But I think value for money, we're probably in the top echelon in the space. So yeah, we're kind of looking for someone in that space, not someone that's gonna charge the client. Like, don't get us wrong, we want you to make money, but we want the client to get the most value for money possible. If that makes sense. So, yeah, if that interests you at all, or you're willing to talk about email marketing, come in the group and contribute a little bit to the email marketing, and Charles and I can organize a chat with you and see if there's some arrangement we can make to find someone that's reputable. Because yeah, it's hard to find. Charles and I are both looking to build out our network, and the email marketing is kind of the one that I'm lacking at the moment. I found email marketers, have tried to catch up with so many of them. They're so flaky. Like, I could have had a really good relationship with a couple of them, but they just never get back to my email, or I follow up and don't hear back. So I'm looking for, yeah, someone that's kind of a bit dedicated in that space. I think as Charles and I's profiles grow over the next couple of years in this space too, I think it will be easier to find really good connections because they'll want to work with us based on, how many referrals we could potentially make to them. But yeah, if you're in the email marketing space and you're wanting to have a chat, yeah, reach out to either myself or Charles. And with the caveat of, having some really good results, I'd want to see kind of what your flow structure's like. I'd want to see how you're creating campaign emails and what you're actually doing for clients. I'd want to see an attribution model with 1-day click and 1-day view. So all the kind of things that would be valuable to a client. That's what I'd be looking at. So yeah.
Jimmy sums it up nicely. Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I think email's been the one area. I had a client recently that asked me, did I know anyone? And I actually reached out to someone that I knew, but he didn't get back to me. So
Yeah.
it wasn't really. And I followed up a couple of times and no response.
One of
Unless
one
he's
of
changed emails,
Charles
I don't know.
one of Charles and I's mentors on that Facebook post I made, he commented on it and he's like, these people just hate money.
Yeah. And look, yeah, I must admit, I think the reality with the agency space or freelance, whatever you want to package it in, there's an abundance of people, but finding good quality people
Yeah.
that are not only good at what they do, but reliable and professional is once you find those people, keep them close,
Yeah, and
and
even
work with them closely.
yeah, Charles has got a good list of in his directory, and I actually just reached out to Charles this week. I was like, "Hey, I'm looking to kind of work with a developer, or at least send someone a scope to see if they're interested." And yeah, Charles had a recommendation from his directory and introduced me personally. So yeah, I mean, if it's a good fit for that person, then yeah, we'll potentially do some work together. And I would 100% Charles's recommendations. I wouldn't have any hesitation on that. So yeah, it's important because if I recommend someone to someone and they do a dud job, it doesn't like it reflects badly on me. You wouldn't think that it does, but if someone's recommended you someone and they've done a dud job, then yeah, it's a poor reflection on the person that's kind of sent them there too. And then they start questioning your kind of work ethic. I'm surprised, like even one of my clients that I've probably been working with for about 5 months now, she said, "Oh, I can't believe how like quickly you reply to my emails." I was like, "I aim to reply to emails if they come through on the day. I'm aiming to reply same day." She's like, "Working with agencies it can take like up to 3 days to hear back from an email." I'm like, "What?" So,
Crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, it's not that hard to stick out if all you have to do is reply to an email the same day.
Yeah. No, I know it's crazy. Briefly talking about kind of the agency space while we're here. You were talking about people always ask like, how do you grow an agency? And I speak to all of my successful agency owners or freelancers that are doing well, and like all the gurus will say, oh, you need to, there's this great funnel, this
I guess,
clever. It's your turn for the light to go off this
yeah,
week.
let's switch off now. And
Mine was
luckily, we're nearly at the end.
just yeah. So most of the larger agencies, they grow because of referrals and they do a good job. I think that's it. Like you can build, a substantial agency or solo kind of freelancer business by networking correctly, building those relationships. When you do get referred work, do a good job,
Mm.
and then you'll get referred again. It's not, and that's how like me and Jimmy have pretty much built our businesses.
I think
It's
so.
off the back of
I've seen both sides too. I've seen some people that started off as freelancers and they built a really good funnel through an ad system and they've managed to build an agency through that. But I find that the ones that have done that, at some point the quality of work's dropped because if you've got the email funnel, you're usually got a team to support too. The more work you start handing off to the team, you're no longer getting that kind of specialist eye on it from the founder that created the business. You're getting kind of his team that's been trained up on his system. So, or his or hers, I should say. So, yeah, I have seen both. But it was interesting. I'm in a kind of an e-commerce community just on in a circle, and one of the threads was where did you get your best client from? Nearly every single reply on there was I was referred or a referral. So yeah, I think trust and good work in this industry, especially in the marketing space, is really important because there's so many snakes out there in the marketing space that will, I even get worried when I see courses and they're like, "Oh, I've just signed my first client," and they're on like 5K a month. And it's like for Google Ads, and they post what the client's budget is. I'm like, far out, like it's not going to work long term because they're not going to be able to derive enough value for that client if this is their first time around at kind of that kind of retainer levels. Yeah, try not to be someone's first client if you can be, and if you are someone's first client, make sure it's reflected in the price.
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, yeah, when I started out, I remember my first. This was like 10 years ago. My first like SEO contract was like, I think £200 a month.
Yeah, it's probably the equivalent to mine, which is around 500 Australian a
Yeah,
month too. So,
and
and that was back in 2016, I think. Yeah, I was lucky. The in-house company that I left came on as my first client, and I just charged them basically what their agency was charging them that was doing nothing on the account. Yeah, took it and run and did a did a like phenomenal job growing that business, and they ended up selling and exiting for like a multi-million-dollar exit. So yeah, I have a good
Bad
memories from
ROI
that
on that
client.
then.
Yeah. So, the retainer did increase with the years because yeah, sometimes if you start on a low retainer and they're on a low ad spend, if your agreement has like a tier of ad spend, if they are getting the results and they continue to scale up ad spend, then it's obviously more work for you, and then you can get kind of, especially in the Google ad space, you can get rewarded based on how much they're spending and how much work it's going to be for you. I know some people that do the so they do kind of a commission based on how much revenue they bring in. I don't like that world because the attribution models are so murky. It's like, which attribution model are you using? Are you using the Shopify last click? Are you using the Google Ads data-driven attribution? Are you using the Google Analytics attribution? And the reason it's murky because it can be like in some cases, if you've got a big client, it can be $1 million difference between the two. So yeah, I prefer to play in the space where it's just like, hey, this is how much you're spending, this is how much it's going to cost me. Because I can kind of, or I can almost like, depending on what the budget is, there's only so much you can do. If there's a really low budget, like there's only a certain amount of campaigns you can run. But if there's a really big budget, you've got a whole ground for testing and it's a lot more work. You can build a lot more things. So yeah, I think, yeah, I definitely built on kind of the ad spend tier. That's how I still do it now.
Guess that works. Yeah, works well in the ads game.
I think we've just hit on an hour, man. So that one went quick tonight. So it was a good one.
Yeah.
But if you guys haven't already, come check us out at Shopify Marketing Secrets on Facebook or e-commerce marketing chats on YouTube. And yeah, it'd be good to hear from some more people about how their e-commerce stores are going. And we'll